After the helper T cells find the right B cells that has the proper antibody for our antigens, they grow rapidly and divide within 15 days. The B cells then produce plasma cells and memory B cells as well. The plasma cells release antibodies that capture the virus's antigen and mark them for destruction. Eventually, the macrophages, a type of phagocyte, comes to kill them. Binding antigens with antibodies can cause agglutination, which is a clumping of particles. This is prime for phagocytes that always crave foreign cells to destroy the viruses. And that is the overall summary of humoral immunity.
Well, that's very interesting. Just wondering, if you were a virus that caused, let's say, the common cold, how would you have invaded a cell and infected?
That's easy. We would go through the cycle called the lytic cycle. First, we attach it to a human cell so that the capsid combines with the receptor. Then we inject our DNA into the host cell and the viral components synthesize. The components then get assembled and finally the crowd of new viruses burst the cell and leave. But as a rabies virus, we would go through the lysogenic cycle, which is the same thing except we stay dormant after our DNA enters the host cell until we become activated.
Now, how would you have fended off treatment if the man got it?
Well, what type of treatment?
I'm talking about post-exposure treatment, or PEP, where the victim cleans their wound and administers immunoglobulin and a course of the rabies vaccine immediately after getting bitten or before any of the symptoms appear.
Well, the immunoglobulin works by providing ready-made antibodies designed to neutralize the villains like me and prevent us from spreading. This helps protect you against us while your body is developing its own antibodies after vaccination that help our victims learn to identify and fight us off.
It must be tough surviving.
You bet. Most of the time we have to battle 4 injections over that nasty virus over a period of 14 days. I've heard from my cellmates that they've encountered the human diploid cell vaccine that uses samples of human cells and the purified chick embryo, cell rabies vaccine, which is created by using samples of chick embryos. Can you believe that? I was hit with a nerve tissue vaccine, which is created by using samples of nerves taken from animal brains. This is called passive immunity.
I'm curious, how exactly does rabies vaccine work against you guys?
You probably don't know this, but sometimes I see my cellmates dragged out by our victims in long white coats. They were never seen again. Rumor has it that they were mutilated so that they couldn't attack or cause diseases anymore and used as a rabies vaccine. When injected into our victims, the vaccine stimulates the immune system to produce security guard-like antibodies that stay in the bodies of our victims. This happens because the inactivated virus still has the characteristic antigens. Next, the B lymphocytes, a type of white blood cell, detects the antigens and starts to multiply into plasma cells or memory B cells. The moment we enter the body, the immune system now recognizes us because of the memory B cells and the antibodies produced by plasma cells attacks us. Apparently, this is called active immunity.
Cheer up, your cellmates must have done some damage, right?
I've heard there's a high rate of side effects like a sore arm, headache, nausea, or vomiting. But what good does it do? Most of it is generally mild. Sometimes I get the satisfaction of hearing about the rare occasion of vaccines causing anaphylaxis. Yes, this allergic reaction could cause a swelling of the mouth, low blood pressure, or shock, but it only ever happens in about 1 out of every 10,000 doses of vaccine given.
Wow, I also hear you guys have majorly tight security here. Is that true?
Yeah, they call it routine boosters. The number of security guards start to dwindle, and before we know it, the place is packed with new security guards. They call themselves antibodies.
I also hear that the prevention methods these days are cracking down hard on you guys. How did they do it?
Yeah, it's just some simple tricky methods, really, but they're a real pain. Our victims are telling others to evade contact with wild animals, getting their pets vaccinated, spreading public awareness, promoting health education, and immediately washing the wounds they receive thoroughly with water and soap from bites. They also have a nasty preventative treatment called pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP. I hear people are installing serious security measures before we even attack. Can you believe that?
Created using Powtoon.